and welcome to Teen Book Bites. I'm Lauren, the young adult librarian at the Memorial Branch Library, and I will be your host today. Since 1987, every March has been recognized as Women's History Month. To celebrate, we are sharing some of our favorite teen books that feature fictional badass women. All of the books that you hear about today are available at the library, so definitely check them out. First up, we have Lear from Teenscape.
Hello, I'm Lear, and the first book I'd like to share is Watch Us Rise by Renee Watson and Ellen Hagen. This revitalizing book with alternating chapters between Jasmine and Chelsea delves readers into a high school whose main focus is activism. Or is it? The two protagonists are done with seeing how girls get treated at their school, and they gain an ally and a teacher and start a women's rights club. Their blog that they have to make is made up of essays and poetry, and it goes viral, especially the posts dealing with microaggressions. Their work spreads across the neighborhood, igniting activists until trolls bombard their blog and the principal dismantles both the group and the blog. Jasmine and Chelsea refuse to let this pass and get swept up in various protests and events to let their voices be heard. Throughout all of this, their friendship with each other and their very tight group of friends is very important. They're there for each other through heartbreak and loss. If you want an uplifting book to read on a pleasant weekend day, this would be the right choice for you. It'll get you invigorated. As an added bonus, there's resources for young activists in the back of the book, including blogs and sites, names of poets, sites that are for girls and young women, resources for body positivity, and organizations that offer free activist programs for girls. Thanks and happy reading.
Thank you, Lear. That book sounds awesome. I mean, I love that it's about activism, like to read about it, but then also get to have all those resources. Like that's really great because then hopefully it'll inspire more girls to be proactive.
Yeah, it's really good. It delves into a lot of things, and the characters are really good. It's nice to see the friendships.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Next up, we have Alicia from the Los Feliz branch.
Hi. So for me, I am presenting Poison Heart by Kaylin Barron, where we center around Breezy's Green, a teenager living in Brooklyn, where her neighborhood has really changed in the last couple of years. Her family's flower shop is struggling because of the new competition from the gentrifying population. They're struggling and they get hit with a sudden fortune of good luck because, as we find out, Breezy's and her family, she's actually adopted. So, as we find, one of her birth mom's family members has passed away, leaving her with with an estate that hopefully, as they hope, can help them offset some of the costs from the flower shop. And maybe the move to this new place can be an upstart for Breezy to not have to hide her abilities, as we find that she has an affinity with nature. She can grow them, she can essentially bring them back from life. But as we find, this ability has a double edge where she finds her family history from her birth mom's side has a centuries-long history going all the way back to the Greeks. But there's people, as always, trying to take control of this ability because, as we find, it has more connection to supernatural powers than we can initially think of. Brigitte is, of course, doesn't always know this in the beginning, but as we find and she explores, she has to deal with the new way that people are taking control of her family's abilities, but also trying to keep her own family safe and sound. She tries to figure out who her friends actually are and who her enemies, what they are hiding.
That sounds really interesting. I love it. I love I mean, I have to say, like, over the pandemic, I feel like so many of us became like plant mothers, you know?
Yes.
So I'm like,
I think I got like 3 or 4 plant children, and they haven't always gone all that well. So
but I also have to say that cover is so gorgeous. I love that
yeah,
color. It's I feel like it's one of my favorite covers that I've seen recently.
yeah, I think in some of the plants it shows like a hint as to like the actual source of her magic. So I'm just like I didn't like notice that until after finishing the book, where I'm like, oh, this might actually be a connection that we didn't notice at the beginning.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. Next up, we have Emily from Palms Rancho.
Hello. Okay, I am talking about the book Iron Widow by Jiren J. Zhao. And be prepared, everyone, because this is truly one of the most badass books I've ever read. There is a quote on the book, I think it's on the back of the book, that really says it for me. It's a review quote, and it says, quote, "a primal scream of a novel." So this novel setting combines alien sci-fi with traditional Chinese myth and customs. And the cherry on top is ultra female rage just coursing through the writing. Chef's kiss. So we're in this distant future where humans are trying to fend off an invading alien army, but there are certain individuals who have enough chi energy to pilot these huge alien ships called chrysalises. So these certain individuals just happen to be male, but also have to have a female present to combine their chi and essentially power up these ships. However, the females usually end up as a sacrifice during this process as the male chi overpowers them. So in this book, we follow Zetienne. She's a young woman who is set out to avenge her sister, who has been murdered by one of the chrysalis pilots. And in doing so, Zetienne finds out that she has more natural chi in her body than almost every male chrysalis pilot. So what does she intend to do with this information? She plans to destroy the sexist system in place to avenge her sister and all other sacrificed women. So this novel is nonstop intense action with the most amazing world building. It's so unique. And also other than Zetienne, there are other like many complex characters that have really deep emotional arcs. So it's just really, it's such a good, like deep, like fun read. And there are so many times where I had to stop reading and be like, what's going on? And then immediately go, yes, queen. So when I finished the book, it was seriously like the first book in a long time for me that I just could not wait to reread it. If you want a badass book about a badass woman, look no further than Iron Widow. There is a sequel set to come out as well. It's amazing. So please check it out.
That was the best review ever.
It, literally, when I was reading this book, like the staff at the library would just be like, "What are you reading?" Because I couldn't stop yelling, going like, "What? Yes!" Like I felt like I was watching an action movie, just going, "Yeah! Oh my gosh!" It's so good.
That is awesome. I'm adding it to my overdrive like as soon as we finish this. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Now we go back to Lear for another recommendation.
Okay, I can't really follow that up, but this is one of my very favorite books, Codename Verity by Elizabeth Wein. This is a second cover. The first, the hardcover, the cover, you all have to go look at it. It's beautiful. It's 2 arms entwined by rope. But this actually is the 3rd book in a series, but it reads great as a standalone. So you can read them in order. Book 1, Pearl Thief. Book 2, Enigma Game. Book 3, Codename Verity. Book 4, Rose Under Fire. So in this book, Codename Verity, we enter 1943. And from a Gestapo's prisoner, we learn about a pair of best friends, a pilot and her passenger. When Verity is arrested because of a fluke mistake, she's sure her hours are numbered. She's a spy in enemy territory. No fate will be kind. So the Nazis give her a choice. She can tell them about the missions she's had or face prolonged torture and a painful execution. And then as we read her intricately woven confession, we also get to know these two girls, thrown together by fate and war and kept together by the bond of being best friends. This intense and heart-wrenching novel feels like it's happening right in front of you and will leave its imprint on your mind long after the last page. So pick up this book and the others today. Also, you might want a box of tissues.
I loved Codename Verity so much. I didn't realize though that in the series, like it's considered the third book because it was the first one that was published, right?
Yes. And it's a little like a prequel. It's a little like a side story, but that's the order they're given. But you can read them in any order, really.
Interesting. Yeah, I love Codename Verity. And like, I felt like it's the kind of book that you have to go back and read a second time to like pick up all these like little clues that you might have missed along the way or something. It's so well written.
I didn't get anything the first time. I was like, "Whoa, what's going on?" And then the second time, oh, I see what you're doing. So it's definitely a to-read type of book.
Awesome. Well, thank you. I love that one. I'm so glad you recommended it. And our last title for today is back to Alicia Liz.
So we begin for this book in the middle of a mission. We begin with Eris, who is leading her group of rebels in a mission to stop a trade route for this empire called Gondolia. They are aptly named Gear Breakers because their name stems from the way they destroy these mechas, which they call windups. But unfortunately, in the mission and trying to save her comrades, she gets captured, which takes us to our second main protagonist, Sona. Sona has lived within the empire of Gondolia. She has seen how Gondolia has expanded and really taken the land as for the resources, the land for all of the citizens. And in the way that her city was captured, her family and her friends, her loved ones, were basically taken away from her. And in Gondolia doing this, she has set out for her mission to take it out within. She's already incorporated into the city. And it turns out actually really well for her in that sense, in that she becomes one of the most talented wind-up pilots for the Empire of Gondolia. But as we come into her meetings, Eris, Sona and Eris sort of start getting to know each other, and Sona finds that Eris is part of one of the rebel groups, and decides, instead of interrogating her and basically destroying Eris's life, she would help Eris escape so that she can end up joining them and taking some of their equipment with them in order to better take down the Empire of Gondolia. And this ends up being a capture for destroying the potential hope that the rebels have in getting more advanced equipment and taking a stance for Gondolia in saying that nobody can really defeat us. Even with some of our best pilots, you cannot defeat us. And this becomes a race against time for Eris and Sona, so that in the sense that if they don't start actually taking it, fighting more actively against Gondolia, they will face more advanced mechas, and they will just not be able to. It will not be possible with more advanced technology.
Thank you. That sounds like the epitome of like a strong female book.
Yeah.
I
And
do
so
have to ask.
yeah, sorry.
I was just going to ask, does it end on a total cliffhanger? Because I heard mention there's a second book, so I'm just curious.
Which is why I'm just like, no, it ends a total cliffhanger. It ends with several characters. We're not really sure how they end up. By the end of it, we end up getting enough of the characters that we want to follow up with them, but they also sort of disappear. But one of them, at least one of the main ones, sort of ends up disappearing, and we're just like, what happened? And you can't do this to us, and ends up total cliffhanger.
That's not such a bad thing, though. I like books.
No,
that
it gives me motivation to go back into the second.
Yeah, leaves you wanting more. Not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you to all of our staff for sharing books with us today. And thank you for watching. Please join us again next month on Monday, April 25th at 3 p.m. as we celebrate neurodiversity in YA books. In the meantime, you can check out some of our previous videos on the LAPL YouTube channel to get more recommendations.